Michael stands up. Mars, the god of war. Welcome back, family. Today, we embark on a journey of discovery. These are my greatest Mazzaroth discoveries ever, possibly marking the end from the beginning. All of the tribulation markers, the escape plans of both brides, the return of Messiah in 2031, the 1260, the 1290, and the 1335 days. I believe we have decoded it all using the Mazzaroth. Let's dig in, family. Here we go. The first thing that we're going to show you is today, January 29th, 2025, Mars aligns with Pollux. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go into the understanding of Mars as Michael. Now first, Mars is known as the god of war. And this has been an ancient depiction of Mars also. But most of the modern understandings of Mars are based on Roman and Greek mythology. And a lot of those myths tie Mars to negative connotations where people are saying that Mars is like the death angel, the red dragon, etc., etc. And my ancient understanding of the Mazzaroth, I have a different perspective of all of these planetary bodies. I see the 7 planets as 7 angels, and all of these determinations are much older than your Greek and Roman mythology, and I believe that all of the original tales were corrupted by all of these different cultures, and they turned the heavenly story into religions, and they began to worship these heavenly bodies as gods, and then that's where all the mythology was developed. But if we go off these original star stories, we have some very, very important alignments of Mars, and I've been tracking the Mazzaroth for over 10 years in using Stellarium, and one of the things that I've noticed about this planet is that it always seems to be involved in the marriage signs and in the birth signs, and it always seems to have a support in all of the signs that I have found. And personally, I've never found a sign with Mars involved that made me believe that it was an evil planet or an evil sign. I typically see that happen with Saturn, and there are in our understanding there are dualistic representations of all of these planets. You can look at all of these planets in 2 different ways. And in this video, we are going to be looking at Mars as Michael, and we're going to be using the Mazzaroth to prove that out. If you take your time and go back and look at my old channel, Kaddish Culture, and you follow along for the last 5 years that I've been doing this online, you'll be able to see that in all of my depictions, Mars has always played a role as Michael the Archangel. And then I see Mercury as Gabriel, the archangel, the messenger angel, and Mars, the warrior angel, and Gabriel being the closest um, planet, or Mercury being the closest planet to the Sun, is a perfect alignment with as above, so below, because the kings always have their messengers right there close to them. So if they had to send a message out, that they could have those messengers ready at the helm so that they could be sent out quickly. And so I see Mercury as Gabriel, the messenger angel, and Mars as Michael, the warrior angel. And when you have Mars in the planet, I mean, in the constellation of Gemini like this, Mars becomes the ruling planet because there's no other uh, more powerful planets that are in this house. So Mars, as the ruling planet in Pollux, is a sign of the warrior angel, because if you look at Greek and Roman mythology, then, because that's what they're showing us here, you'll see that these two brothers, Pollux and Castor, Pollux was the heavenly brother, and Castor was the earthly brother. And Pollux was a protector of Castor. And so we see Mars as Pollux, the protector of the bride, because in the ancient depiction, this is a bridegroom and a bride. And so we see Mars now acting as the protector of the bride, and we can see that as the church and as the called out ones. And we see Michael is standing up, protecting the bride. And the bride is in her transitional period, and Michael has come to protect the bride starting today. We have some very, very important signs. We're going to go ahead and take a step back, and we're going to show you how this all transitioned. The first thing that we're going to talk about is Daniel 12:1. We're going to read this scripture so that you can understand what we're talking about. At that time, Michael, the great prince who stands watch over your people, will rise up. There will be a time of distress, the likes of which will not have occurred from the beginning of nations until that time. But at that time, your people, everyone whose name is found written in the book, will be delivered. Daniel 12:1. Okay, fam. Now what we're going to do is we're going to be looking at Mars at opposition on January excuse me, on January the 16th. We had Mars at opposition. Now I made multiple posts about this. This was a very, very important sign to me. This is when I started getting the message that something was going on with the planet Mars, and that I needed to take a deeper look at all of the signs, because this happened January 16th during Hanukkah, and so Maseroth Hanukkah. So I wanted to dig in and see if there was a deeper message. This was day 5 of Maseroth Hanukkah, and I got a very, very powerful message that I needed to go and dig in a little deeper if you're not familiar with Mars opposition, then what opposition is when the planet is between the wandering star and the sun. Okay, so we know that the sun is the bridegroom, Christ, and if we see Mars as Michael, the warrior angel, then planet Earth is directly between these two bodies. And we can look at this alignment as the bridegroom and Michael in a place of protection over the planet. And this was very, very powerful to me because I was looking at this opposition as a potential sign for Michael standing up the Daniel 12:1 verse. So what I did is I went and I dug a little deeper, and this information here goes into the opposition of Mars, and you can go into do more research about Mars opposition, but I wanted to dig in from there and start to see these alignments. So I started tracking Mars, and I noticed a couple things with the path of Mars and with everything that Mars was showing. And what I found was just mind-blowing. Okay, so first we're going to start here. This is Mars making its first alignment with Pollux, and it is lined up on the shoulder, but if you look at this as a stick figure, then we can see that Pollux is pointing somewhere, and Mars is aligned on this line. And if we pull back, we can see that that line is pointed directly at Hydra, the serpent, what they call the fleeing serpent. And this alignment was very, very important to me. What I found is when I saw this alignment and the next alignment that it makes with Gemini, I immediately went back and I started to look at Gabriel, the messenger angel, because I wanted to see if there was any connection. So quickly what we're going to do is we're going to go back to Mercury, and we're going to show you what happened with Mercury right after this alignment or opposition. And let's go ahead and get this right up here. We're looking at Mercury making its alignment with the wing of Sagittarius. This is also the exit of the tabernacle, and it can be also looked at as the exit of the boat or the ark. And when it's aligned right here in this position, it's also aligned with the wing of Sagittarius. And so I immediately, in my spirit, I felt the scripture of where Gabriel is held up for 21 days and Michael comes to his rescue. So I wanted to see if there was a connection with 21 days from either opposition or from this point where Mercury aligns with the wing, because this can be seen as the flight of the messenger. And I have another note here. This is also give me one sec, fam. I have a very important note here. Um, this is called the herald. The herald is like the messenger being sent out, or the message being sent out. This is the herald of what is to come. And when I got these words and I got this sign and I started feeling like there was something deeper, I wanted to go look at all the Mazzaroth signs that happened after this. And that's when I was led to um, the Mars second alignment with the body. So now we're going to go back to Mars, and we're going to go ahead and look at this next alignment. So, and then we'll get back to the message of Mercury. But first, we're going to look at the next alignment here with Pollux. And we're looking at Mars directly aligning with the body of Pollux, and that's about right there. So here we are. Now Mars has made a full alignment with Pollux, and we know that this can be seen as the protector of the bride. And now we're looking at Michael basically taking that position of the warrior angel brother who guards over Castor, the human brother. And that shows that we are essentially brothers with these angels. And they are our protectors, they are our guardians. And one of the names of Michael is the guardian of the divine order. And this is essentially the final battle of the serpent bearer. So let's quickly go to Ophiuchus, and we're going to take a look at this constellation because this is a representation of Michael. Michael wrestling the serpent, keeping him from the crown, and Michael is the one who casts the serpent down. This is also a representation of Christ, who ultimately wins the battle over the serpent. But it is Michael, his archangel, who does that work for him. And so we're looking at Ophiuchus as the serpent bearer, Michael. And this is very important in all of these determinations because the heavens are showing us this storyline, and we're being shown a direction in our understanding. And this, to me, is a very, very important sign of Michael taking a stand against the enemy. This is the first stance up against the dragon. And what we're going to be looking at next are some very, very important associated signs. This is all connected. Again, fam, this is going to be a series. I'm going to have to bring this out in a series. I believe we have connected everything from the beginning to the end, and there's no way for me to bring that out in a longer video. I would have to do 20 hours of videos to get all this information out. So we're going to take this in shorter pieces and bring it out piece by piece. Hopefully I can do this almost every day and bring all of this message to the body of Messiah. So we see here on the 29th that Mars is aligned with Pollux. If we go back to the 17th, when I believe Gabriel was sent out as the messenger, and we look at 21 days from Gabriel being sent out, now we're going to be looking at a very, very important sign. This is Asteroid Davida. And this is Asteroid Davida. Boom! Here we see Asteroid Davida aligning with the head of the sea serpent. And we can see how it is striking the head of the sea serpent. This is essentially happening on the 5th, because we're already into, we can see how this alignment is basically happening right before the 5th. And it is entering into the head. It is essentially aligning with this Gamma Cetus star, and we can notice that this is what they would call the neck of the sea serpent. So we can see right here that David, or Davida, is cutting off the head of the sea serpent. So I wanted to quickly go here, and I want to take a look at these asteroid codes for Asteroid Davida. This is Asteroid Davida, the rapture. The bird is freed. 153101. Matrix code patterns. Open portal. United harpazo. Freeing slaves. Trumpets. Father chariot. The Lamb coming prophecy. Esther first fruits. My Mary Magdalene. Scorpio and Taurus. Seventh angel. The pale horse. Ruler of Hades and the outer space alien deception. This is very important to see how this is a determination of the end of Cetus. We are seeing Davida as in a David and Goliath moment. And this is a sign of things to come, that the sea serpent is getting his head removed. And these are very, very important, powerful signs that are coming to us directly related to the Mars sign, because if you look directly above, let's go ahead and get this on Meridian, and look just directly above, and we can see who this message is to or for. The bride in the Lamb. These are important messages that the heaven is speaking to us. This is a David and Goliath moment. This is essentially the 5th of February. We're seeing Asteroid Davida representing the head of the sea serpent being lopped off. So now what we're going to do is we're going to show you how this connection with opposition and this day is 21 days. So if you count from the 16th to the 5th, it's 21 days. Opposition to the 5th is 21 inclusive days. And so I saw this as a sign of Mercury being sent as a messenger, and so I started looking for the other messages that might be connected. Cetus is a very important sign right now. As you know, we were just talking about the escape of the bride and how Cetus is the one that holds the bands of Pisces, and now we're seeing in early February, the 4th into the 5th, we're seeing Davida, as in David and Goliath, and we know what happens with David after he defeats Goliath. He picks up the sword and he cuts Goliath's head off. And that is what I got here, is that this is a David and Goliath moment. We're seeing Mars going through its motion, and we can see how there are some associated signs with the battle over the serpent. So now we're going to move to our next sign, and that is going back. We're going to go back and we're going to look at this. I might not be able to pull up the Stellarium has been giving me some issues because I have to use the web version. Sometimes the comments will just disappear and I won't be able to find them, and it gets very frustrating. So if you have Stellarium on your own, if I can't find this this comment quickly, then I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and just give you the information, and then you will be able to see for yourself. See, it's just not coming up. So sometimes these comments do this to me, where they just won't come up. But we have an alignment on the 30th of C 2024 E1 Where's chose. And let's go ahead and go to these codes. I want to bring these codes out. If you have Stellarium yourself, you can go ahead and look this up. This is C 2024 E1 WEIRZCHOS Where's chose. And this is a comet in the constellation of Hercules, making an alignment with Hercules at on the 30th. So I'm not sure what happened here. Okay, here we go. Let's get this up. Okay, here we are. Comet Where's chose. This is January the 30th. This is the crush of the head of Draco. This is the constellation Hercules. If you go and do your research on the constellation of Hercules and you look at the Mazzaroth, which we'll do next really quick, you'll see that Hercules is crushing the head of Draco. So Comet Where's chose. The world is about to change. The greatest show on Earth. Mercury, Venus, the planet Venus, the storm is here. Black Plague is next. The Divine Triangle, the end of the world, southern border, spiritual army. Break the Matrix Code, Wicked Matrix Hacked to Bits, Hollywood Burned, Doomsday, The Evil Number, 13th of January. Now, I wanted to point out really quick, on the 13th of January, we had the occultation of Mars, family. Go look it up. This was the moon occulting the planet Mars on the 13th, and it happened in Gemini. You can't make this up, family. These codes are aligning, and they're perfectly explaining to detail what's happening in our time and in the spiritual realm, in the heavens, and here on the planet. So we have the 13th of January, Order of Melchizedek, DECODE Serpent Bearer. You can't make this up, family. The serpent bearer is Ophiuchus, who's Michael. Saturn was a son. Yahweh Saturn. Michael, ready for fire and judgment. Please, family, I hope you can see that these codes are aligned perfectly. And this is a message to the body of Messiah. The things that I've discovered are undeniable. This is getting absolutely crazy. Again, I can't pull this up because it's denying me from being able to see the comet. But if you go on your own and you pull up Hercules, you'll be able to find comet where it shows in the constellation. And again, if you see here, Hercules has his foot over the head of Draco. Hercules crushes the head of Draco, and back to back, Ophiuchus and Hercules are signs together because Ophiuchus is also holding back the serpent, and Draco is seen as the great dragon serpent. And all of these things are connected, family. We are seeing Michael begin to stand up for his people, and we are seeing a time like there's never ever going to be ever again in history. Today we are seeing a transition into that time, the time of great tribulation. Today is our sign. Now, whether or not that is going to manifest here on earth right away is to be seen. So our last sign that we're going to show here on part 1 is the transition of Mars out of its retrograde. And this is another very important sign. Let's go ahead and watch as Mars leaves Pollux. I want you to watch what happens and where it happens and where we end up. Okay, fam, let's go ahead and go backwards. Okay, here we are on the 23rd, and Mars comes out of retrograde and begins to move forward, and this division happens within Pollux. So Mars is staying within Pollux and showing us that Mars is the one who is the warrior brother from heaven. And now we're going to see how Mars goes back And on a very important day, we're going to see how Mars is lining up with Pollux again. And this is happening, family, on the spring equinox. And if we do not see major things happen in the next day or so, then I believe that this sign here on spring equinox is our sign of Michael standing up, and that means the beginning of the tribulation. If you go read all of Daniel 12, you'll see what I'm talking about. This is the tribulation sign. And if we do not see things transpire in the next couple days, which the 29th could be our sign of the tribulation beginning. So if we're not seeing things transpire in the next couple days, then we have something very powerful to look forward to on the 21st of March, the equinox. And it's very important for us to keep watching these signs. Tomorrow I'm coming back to do some very important videos, and I will see you tomorrow. We will be coming back probably a day or so after that to bring part 2 of Michael Stands Up. I have a couple more videos that I've already planned to bring out, and they will help expound on what we're seeing here in the heavens. I want to thank you for coming. I need help spreading these videos out. If you could help me out and spread these videos and do everything that you can to help this algorithm to get back up. I have a bunch of information about my channel, and it looks like it's either under attack or all the notifications have been turned off. Things don't look right, and so I want to put that out there to the body of Messiah. In order for this message to get out, I'm going to need some help, and I'm going to need everybody to stay alert and pay attention over the next couple days, and we're going to continue to watch these signs. There is a lot for us to grasp in this, but I am going to do my best to bring all of these things out. We have signs going all the way out until 2031 with this, and I believe we have connected the dots from the beginning and the end. It's all going to depend on what happens over the next couple days, and whether or not this alignment today is our first signs of this tribulation beginning, or whether we are waiting for Mars to go forward motion and make its alignment here on the 21st of March. Much love, family. Again, thanks for coming, and we will see you again very soon.